Vids are in, the gavel's dropped, ladies and gentlemen, here at WineBid's. We're finally hammered. That's right. This is WineBid's podcast, dedicated to all things wine value, wine retail, and just wine. With me, as always, is the talented sage of Sonoma. That's right, our wine expert, expert on all things wine. That's right, Paul Walker. And
where did you get, of course, sage of Sonoma?
That's what everyone's calling you these days.
Why
and by
is
everyone,
that?
I mean me. I don't know. It's just what they say.
Okay.
I am Jeff McGurv from the WineBid marketing team. We're here today to talk about things coming to the auction in France. We're going to start with France this week. This will probably be the first episode, one of the first episodes we drop. We haven't covered France in a couple of weeks. Let's start with Bordeaux.
Big surprise.
Well, I think it's topical because, as I keep mentioning, On Premier is going on right now.
Keep mentioning that On Premier, which we will see those wines in about, 6 years or something?
2 years. Let's start out with this. We had actually a bunch of mags coming in auction. We have 5 of the 96 Lafite Rothschild mags for $22.50 a piece. I mean, do you see those hammering at
5 of the 2000s of the 96, right? Or there's 6 of each, I think.
5 or 6 of each?
I think there's 6 of each. No, excuse me. I'm not looking at the auction right now. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my spreadsheet. Anyway, I actually did see these wines come into the warehouse. They were in original wood and they were stored since release by the owner. But anyway, yeah, fantastic wines. I was a little surprised to see the 96 was slightly more than the 2000, but majorly collectible right there.
We have a 05 Latour mag for $15.85. And then we also have mags of Latour. We have 90 in other vintages, 99 for $9.80, 03 for $14.50, and then another 03 for $14.50. I don't know why I put the 03 for $14.50 in twice. but I
was kind of surprised that the 03 and the 05 are so close in price. I kind of expected the 05 to be quite a bit more.
A lot more. Yeah.
It's not that much more.
I feel like that was sort of something that I noticed a lot this auction, is that you'd have these stellar bottles next to another vintage that was an epic vintage, and the epic vintage didn't seem to be priced all that much more. We had a bevy of Chateau d'Yquem coming into auction this week. 375 ml, half bottle of the 87 for $160, half bottle of the 88 for $245, the 89, half bottle of the 89 for $260, half bottle of the 89 for $260, a lot of the 89, half bottle of the 90 for $260, 90, half bottle of the 95 for $185, half bottle of the 90, or a full bottle of the 96 for $295, a half bottle of the 99 for $160, full bottle of the 99 for $315. So you can actually save $5 if you buy the full bottle of 99 Chateau d'Yquem, and then a half bottle of the 03 for $165. I think
that's not bad. That's
all.
The best deal, I think, on Sauternes right now is the 03s, because it's for d'Yquem 03. Would you say 165 for the half bottle?
165.
Yeah, that's a steal. So I was saying that we had the trio of amazing vintages, 88, 90, and was 88, 89, 90, excuse me, which are all just unbelievably good. But then 95 I saw in for 185 for half bottle. I don't think it's bad at all. And then the 03 at 165, that's a good deal.
I actually think d'Yquem continues to represent like tremendous value. It ages a long time. It's fantastic. When you compare it to other, comparable quality Bordeaux, albeit not Sauternes, I think you see much higher price points, and you see a lot more. You see a lot more growth in price points. For some reason, I feel like Sauternes just continues to be a good value in that region, all things considered. But so all that d'Yquem. 96 Pichon Longueville Comtesse de Lalande. We've got 2 of those for $235. I actually thought that was a nice deal too for a great vintage. The 86 De Cru Buccolo Mag for $400. I thought that was actually a pretty good deal. And then we also have the 96 and a 750 for $230.
Yeah,
which I thought was a good deal as well.
95 at 205, still not bad. That wine
Still
was
not
a really
bad.
big deal. It was it was Spectator Top 100, if I'm not mistaken. It was.
Well, I know you've
Was
memorized
it
all the
number
Spectator
one?
top 100s.
No, I
So
remember the
you would
mid
know.
'90s
I trust you.
wines. I remember the mid '90s wines especially well because I was working retail at the time. And '95 Ducru, I'm almost positive it was number one. Yeah, it was number one in 1998, and it was really expensive. It was at retail. It was like 130 or something. It was like, just unheard of. That rating just blew up the price. And so I looked at it, I was like, 205, that's not bad. It's like for that, for great vintage Ducru over the years. I mean, you'd be pissed off if you bought it in 1998 for 135 bucks. That's only for 205 now. But at Costco in 98 would have probably been like 40 bucks. So that number one rating really just blew it up. But anyway, I thought the 82 was also in at 315. And when you get a good bottle of that, it's really, really, really good. It's really, really good. What else you got? I got picks too. You mentioned a lot of the ones on my list, but
I'm going to mention some more that are on your list, I'm sure. One thing that I thought was interesting, and this goes back to a conversation we've been having over and over again about En Premier, 2016 Chateau Palmer. We have one of those, already has one bid on it, taking it from 285 to 295. And I looked, the En Premier release price for 2022 Palmer is, can you guess?
22 on
2022
price.
It just came out. Yeah, just came out recently.
For Palmer, oh God, I'm sure it's something insane. It was like $500 or something.
Not quite, $380.
Yeah, okay.
So like I keep saying this. I know you keep giving me guff about it, but like when 2022 on Premier comes out at 380, right? And then you look on WineBid and you see the 2016 at 285, which was a phenomenal vintage, right? Yeah. Even after buyer's premium, you're still coming in quite a bit less, and you can have the wine now and drink it sooner.
Yeah.
So I think we'll continue to see a good amount of action in the auction on bottles that are coming out on Premier, just because this on Premier season prices are so much higher. And I think you see it like we've got like Alsaune, right? So we've got the 01 Alsaune. There's already two bids on it, taking it from 520 to where it currently is at 625. Care to guess at what the 2022 Alsaune on Premier is?
Well, the 2000s at 825. So I imagine
2000 is 825.
So I imagine it's somewhere in that 850 range or something.
On Premier, 755.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But my point is this: you can get the 01 if you get the 01 for 520. Again, even after buying premium, well, you can't. You can't at least 625. Even 625. It's got 22 years of age on it, right? It's a tremendous bottle. And I don't know, there's a lot of speculation that you're going to be able to get almost everything on Premier at its on Premier retail price when it hits the shelves in 2 years.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to buy them now. It's like,
it doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Also some stuff that I thought was really interesting. 95 Clinet for 175. We've got three of those.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was on my list.
86 Gerard Larose for 180. We've got three of them. We also have the 2000 for 140. We've got the Chateau Bechevel for 125. We've got two of those, and we've got the 89 for 130. We also have an 89 for 130 in case you don't want to pay 125, you want to pay 130. To each their own. I would go with one of the 125 lots if it were me. 01 Clemens, we've got two of those for 150. Tremendous year for Sauterne. And then a 95 L'Église Clinet, which has two bids on it. We have, two lots, each with bids on them. One of them is now at 170 and one is 180. They both started at 160. And great stuff. Again, I think you're looking at another example of where, En Premier is pouring people into the secondary market, because, it's just, all these things are coming out at, a lot more than a lot more than their on premier price, or rather, all the on premier prices are coming out a lot more than secondary market. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't seem to make sense the way the market is right now in general.
No.
You know, external things happening. I'm not super in tune with what's happening in world economies, but you know, the prevailing sort of trend is that things aren't super great. So I'm confused as to why the on Primeur for the 22s are so high. But there's plenty of things you can read about that explain it well.
From what I understand,
there's an article about it. So
from what I understand, or from what I've seen, there's not a ton that seems to be selling out right now. There are only like maybe a few select bottles, producers that are selling out, and everything else is just sort of, sitting around.
Yeah.
So, but the big question is, will there be any repricing, or will this impact how they price it? What else do you got? What did I miss?
Let's see. It's 99 ozone at 430. I thought was kind of interesting. It was 9 of those. There's the bottle of 2000 we mentioned at 825. There's also a bottle of 2000 Petrus and Cheval Blanc that came out of a Duclos case. They all have their little cardboard cases, which is kind of funny. Anyway, those were all picks from me because it's nice to know they all came out of the same box. But anyway, they're in perfect condition. And let's see, there's a mag of Bechevel 03 at 170. I thought that was pretty interesting, not terribly expensive. We talked about 03 being hot and somewhat controversial, but a lot of the Bordeaux have been aging very well. 16 Dahlem, wine you don't see very often, at $25, thought was a good value. And let's see. Yeah, you mentioned 2000 Gros de Rose, 140. I think that's a great deal. It's really, really good wine. I had that a couple of years ago out of a mag, and it was just awesome. 96 Haut-Brion at 440. I still think that's kind of reasonable, if you will, for this wine. The 2000s at 700, quite a bit more, but those are my Haut-Brion picks this week. Yeah, Église Clinée, I think, is still kind of a decent deal. 78 Leva Las Casas, 4.5 liter for 860. I saw was enticing. There's a 3 liter. I'm just really surprised, Jeff, you didn't mention this 3 liter of 89 Pavie. It's your favorite producer of all time, and that's sitting there looking good at $800. Now, granted, the 89 is before it was revamped as a chateau and spoofulated, but hey. Anyway.
You and your made up words.
That's not made up. I don't know if it's in Webster's dictionary, but
somebody made it up.
Some wine glossary.
Some wine critic.
It's in the wine glossary somewhere. 86 costs at 200 and 95 costs at 180. I was into both of those, both great wines. 03 Chapelle d'Ozon. Speaking of Ozon, the second label of Chapelle d'Ozon 03 in at 135. And yeah, that 2000 Petrus, not cheap, 39.45. Oh yeah, there's some late harvest wines from Montbazillac, which is near Bordeaux. Turcot, Gravier, Cuvée Madame. There's 3 of the 95s at 115. Oh, wow. And then there's one of the 98s at 50, quite a bit difference in price there. I think the 95's got big scores. But anyway, that's really, really great stuff. Excellent dessert wine from Montbazillac. And I think that wraps up my Bordeaux picks.
Let's go over to Burgundy. Let's take a jaunt on over to Burgundy. 2010 Domaine Romanée-Conti Corton for $2,500. We've got an 05 Rousseau Chambertin with one bid on it, actually, taking it from 4,200 to 4,400 in case anybody wants to get competitive with whomever has bid on that Rousseau. We've got an 04 Laflave Chevalier Montrachet for $995. And then this one was interesting. This 99 Vincent Jardin Von Romani Les Succots. Two bids. That's what I said. Succots. 2 bids has taken it from 80 to 82.
Yeah, that's a deal. It's a negotiant deal. I mean, again, 99 vintage, super super great. Did you see the Clos de la Roche also for 150, which I didn't think was terrible for a pretty serious vineyard there. Also
Yes.
99, but
Yes. There were a good amount of 99s. I picked out this 2018 Francois Ravenot Chablis Buteau for 390. I thought that one looked interesting. This 2010 Georges Muneret Nuit Saint Georges Les Chenot. Chenyot. This one already has a bid on it, taken from 345 to 365. This
yeah, you got to specify Muneret Gibourg because there are more than one Muneret. But anyway,
Muneret Gibourg. Yes. Sorry, 2014 Vincent Davassa Chablis La Forest at 180. I always keep my eye out for the La Forests. I mean, that stuff's obviously, highly sought after. Not cheap, but also not crazy, I guess. 2019 Hubert Lamy Saint Aubin Les Frionnais.
Frion, yeah.
Frion, 2 bids has it going from 55 to 56. There are 2 of those, but that looks super interesting. And the 2018 Thierry Pilot Pouligny Montrachet Les Ensingere. I know I butchered that one.
You have fun with this one.
Enseigneur, that's what I just said. Like you just copied me. That has 1 bid taken from 80 to 81.
Yeah, the Thierry Pilot wines, these were, I think, slightly late additions. I think they went in yesterday. Merceau Narvaux, those got bids. They're at 92. And then the Pouligny Enseigneur is at 81. And what else was there that was added? Oh, yeah, there was just a single bottle, I think, of Caroline Moret Chassagne Montrachet Chancan that got added as well at 130. That'll probably get snatched up. Those are really, really good. Nice group of Rousseau wines for sure. There's, I think, wow, the Geoffroy Chambertin Casatier, that's wild. This went in for a relatively low reserve price and is now up to 610, which is fascinating because I think that's higher than it's ever hammered before. I mean, 09, phenomenal vintage, and Rousseau has obviously really caught fire in the last few years. There's a group of Arnoux Lachaux wines, which are always interesting to see because the prices are all over the place. But anyway, there's 14 Echezot 575, 17 Nuit Saint Georges Village at 280, 17 Von Romane Village at 350, 14 Souchot at 500, and 17 Von Romane Haute Mazière at 370. So those are interesting. 14 Christophe Roumier Rouchat Chambertin at 935. Oh yeah, 99 Clos de Tart. There's 3 of those at 520 a piece. Oh, there's a bottle of Comte Ligier Bel Air Nuit Saint Georges Clos de Grandvin at 950. Not surprised there. 2000 Comte Lafon Volnay Santino Magnum at 190. There's some Berthaud wines, 98 Berthaud Chambolle-Musigny Premier Cru at 130, and 96 Amoureuses at 475, which always kind of seems like a reasonable, if you will, deal. And Amoureuses especially, not quite maybe at the caliber of some of the other heavy hitters, but still not terribly expensive. Oh yeah, there's a bottle that also got added, I think late. Maybe not, actually. 16 Cécile Tremblay, Maurice Saint-Denis, Trey Girard. It's got a bid. It's at 345. These wines are just amazing. Some Fourier 14, Fourier Clos Saint-Jacques at 445. And then, let's see, I think, a couple bottles of Roumier, Chambolle-Musigny, a couple 12s at 440, and 6 of the 19s at 400 each. Yeah, you mentioned that Lamy Le Frion that got bid on very quickly. There's some Jean Chartrand Batard 17, 1 bottle at 340, and then a Jean Chartrand Pouligny Folatier 2020 at 75, which actually didn't seem like too expensive for that particular vineyard. You mentioned the La Fleuve. Let's see, 08 Ponceau Chapelle Chambertin didn't seem too spendy to me. It's got a bid, I think, now at 270. 05 Georges Nola Echezot 300. There's some Meunier wines in this week, also 13. Chambolle-Musigny Le Fouet at 675, and an 07 Musigny at 2170. 99 Boyo, Volnay Chevret 55. I thought that was pretty interesting. Another wine from Les Oreilles like popped in this week. 2020 Gevrey Chambertin en Renier at 600. 14 Pierre's Colin Moret Chevalier Montrachet at 1400. Fantastic vintage there. More 99s. 99 Groffier Bourgogne Pinot Noir got a bid at 41. And 98 Groffier Chambouzin Les Sentiers 210. There's an 09 Catiard Malcansor at 945, excuse me. And then I mentioned the Thierry Pillot wines and the Vincent Girardin 99s. And I think that rounds out my Berg selections.
Let's run around France a little bit before we wrap up, shall we? So
Okay.
Let's start in Alsace. This region of France is brought to you by the letter A, and there is just a bevy of Zin Umbrecht, which
They're going to say letter Z.
Oh yeah, the letter Z and the letter H. We've got just a ton of Zin Umbrecht. 99 Gewürztraminer, Gäuberschwier for $40. We've got the Golder Vindage Tardif for 85, 97 Einborg Turkheim for 60. There's just like a ton of 90 Zin Umbrecht in auction. And I mean, I haven't had all these bottles, but I can't say that I've had a bottle of Zin Umbrecht that I didn't like. I don't know about you, but I feel like every bottle of Zin Umbrecht I have, I'm like, this is amazing. How is this not like $700 a bottle? It's so good. It's so good.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, the wines, I think, from the mid-90s, obviously now are going to be, they're going to have totally different aromatics and flavor profiles, I think, than from some of these more recent releases. I mean, they're still good, but they taste differently over time. So I think that's something that you've got to take into consideration if you're after them. Whereas if you like this, I think I'm just looking at all the Zinhambrecht in auction, but if there's the 06 brand Turkheim Vendage Tardive is going to be utterly different than, say, something from 1994 or these Rangen from 97 Pinot Gris or something. So, yeah, but yeah, they're excellent wines and very enjoyable for sure.
We've got this bottle of 08 Marcel Dice Schönenberg for $95. I actually thought that's not a terrible deal. That's delicious stuff. And then this is kind of interesting. This 08 Barme, Bucher, Tokai, Pinot Gris, Rosenberg de Vettelsheim VT for 35. Is it? I mean, Tokai. I'm not as familiar with this style of wine.
No, it's late harvest. I mean, it's going to be. Yeah, it's late harvest. It's going to be sweet, obviously, and I know this producer. I haven't had too many wines from them in recent years, but
I think it's super interesting though to get like a late harvest Pinot Gris.
Yeah, I
guess is what I'm saying. Like late harvest Riesling, late harvest Gewürztraminer, more common. Late harvest Pinot Gris. In Alsace, not something I've seen very much, but then again, I'm not the wine expert like Paul is.
Well, there's a bunch of Zinhambrecht late harvest Pinot Gris in this week too. Speaking of your favorite producer, so Old Vines and SGN's a selection Grenoble, and there's quite a bit of it.
There's a bunch of really cool stuff in auction. Let's hop on over to Champagne. Of course, we have a 96 Dom Perignon for 405, epic vintage. That looks, I mean, I'm sure there will be a lot of people taking a look at that. 97 Laurent Perrier Brut already has bids on it. It actually has 4 bids on it. Started at 60, it's up to 64 after 4 bids. I think, it's quite interesting. The non-vintage Aubry Phil Brut Premier Cru for $250. That's a 3-liter, in case you're interested in a party bottle. And those were the sort of main ones that I was taking a look at. What did I miss here?
Yeah, there's a 3 liter of Billy Cart also. It's their standard producer, but it's a nice big bottle. And yeah, funny, there's like multiple 3 liters in this week. Boiselle, I don't know who Boiselle is, but 3 liter of that at 160. There's also
we have two. We have
the other
two.
one's at 195, so that must have bids on it. I can't imagine it's a different price for some reason. No, they are different prices for some reason. Maybe the different disgorgements, I guess. One's in November 14, and the other one is I don't know.
The other one I didn't see the disgorgement.
Yeah, 14 Bollinger Grandone Rosé. That looks delicious.
190.
The Gobillard I also picked from O2 Gobillard. Cuvée Prestige looks phenomenal as well, and it's $32. Got a couple bids on it.
A phenomenal year in Champagne. So
yeah, it's a great year. Gobillard's tasty stuff.
Let's go ahead and hop on over to Jura, where we have a bunch of stuff from is it Stephanie? It's not Stefan. Stefan Tissot. I mean that's basically it. We just have a bunch of new stuff from Stefan Tissot. Not a producer I'm familiar with. Are you familiar with Tissot?
Yeah, these are
dessert wines.
These are all late harvest. Yeah. The PMG Pour Ma Gueule, I think that's funny. It's for my, it's basically kind of a not so nice term to say your mouth, essentially for my mouth. There's like a really rude, there's a really rude phrase in French that, I won't say, so I won't offend French people, but it ends in go, and it's pretty extreme. So I think they're trying to be a little bit, a little bit cheeky here. But then I have no idea like what the difference is between like the PMG and then the Passerie Rouge, other than probably, maybe grape varieties. I have no idea, but the Passerie Rouge looks like a little bit more information on it. But anyway, some interesting late harvest wines from Tissot. So yeah, and then Passerie de l'Ancienne. So there's three different kinds of wines, and then different vintages as well. So kind of cool to see those.
We only have one thing from the Languedoc-Roussillon, which is a 95 Chapoutier Bagnols. So a Negociant Bagnols for $40, which I love Bagnol. And by the way, Paul is a big chocolate head. You really love you love chocolate. You're a bit of a chocolate snob, but you really like, I think I don't know how to pronounce this producer, Hershey. Hershey.
I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know.
Nestle. But Bagnol, by the way, is phenomenal with chocolate. If you've not had that pairing yet, it's one of my favorite chocolate pairings. One of my favorite all-time pairings.
I've had it before, of course, but Chapoutier Bagnols I'm not familiar with, actually. I know they make many, many, many different kinds of wines, but I didn't know they made Bagnols. So that's pretty cool. And who knows when this was actually 95. Okay.
95. I
thought it was, for some reason I didn't see the vintage. That looks like fun stuff. I mean, it's drinking great. Is this a 750? No, it's 500 milliliter.
500.
Cool. Yeah.
Let's talk the Loire Valley. There's we had a few bottles. We got a bunch of stuff coming in from Domaine Caddy, Coteau de Leon, Saint Aubin, Ligounet, Cuvée Eleanor, SGN. So we've got some late harvest stuff, right?
Eleanor. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know Caddy, this producer, at all. Cote de Leon's obviously can be great, but I don't know these wines. There's Beaumard Carte de Chaumin, which is awesome. 98 and 05. Delicious stuff.
Yeah, for $30.
Oh man, so good.
For $375.
So good.
And we've got you get 98 and 05, $30. The 98's 30 and the 05 is 40. I thought that was interesting. And then the Philippe Delavaux, Delavaux for 75. We've got 6 of those. And then an 01 for 60. And we've got 3 of those. But those looked interesting. Also,
that's great. Those are really, really good wines.
Really.
So awesome selection of dessert wine this week.
Yeah. there's just a grip of amazing dessert wine. Let's take a look at the Rhone really quickly. We've got Gugal Côte Rôtie La Landon. Two of those, they're 14 for 2014 for 225. We've got 1995 Chapoutier Hermitage Vin des Pailles Blanc for 160. That's a 375. And we actually have two of those in auction. Domaine de Pegau, Châteauneuf de Pape Cusé Reserve 3 liter for 520.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a crazy price for a 3 liter of Domaine de Pegau.
No, I think it comes down to scores. 95 didn't get the scores that, some of the more recent 2000s vintages have gotten, the 01s or 03s or 5s or 7s, whatever. So yeah, that's a deal compared to more recent releases for sure.
That one could also still have some life left in it as a 3 liter.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Those wines last a long, long time. 95 should be drinking great.
Especially with a double mag. 2012 Domaine Jean Royer Le Petit Roy for $20. And this 2016 Domaine de la Sarveche Saint Joseph. I love Saint Joseph wines. With 24 available for $30 a piece, which maybe I'll pick some up. I'll have to think about that.
24 bottles. You should be able to, I would imagine you should be able to score it at reserve.
You never know.
You never know, though. It's true.
You never know. And then let's. We have some wines from Savoie.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
Yes, we have some new wines. We've got these Domaine des Orchis Comtesse d'Alpesse for $25. We have 36 of those. They're all Domaine des Orchis Comtesse. Different sort of wines and vintages, which this is not something I'm familiar with. Are you familiar with this producer?
Altesse and then Mondeuse, I think. Interesting. No, I have no clue. No clue.
The Mondeuse is classified as Vin des. Yeah, they're all classified as Vin des Savoie. So I'd be interested in knowing what you would call it, the varieties are for those.
Well, yeah, I would imagine Mondeuse is made from Mondeuse.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. The more you know. Not a variety I'm familiar with.
But I don't know.
Let's cap this off with some Southwest France, Montbalsac. We've got the 95 Turcot La Gravier Cuvée Madame for 115. We've got 3 of those, so that's a 500 milliliter. And we also have that in the 98, and we've got an 01 Thierry Desprez Grand Masson Cuvée de Monstré Montbalsac.
Wait, say it again?
Thierry Desprez Grand Masson Cuvée de Monstré Montbalsac.
Yeah. Thierry Desprez. Cuvée de Mons, it's a monster cuvée. That's pretty cool. Another one. I wonder. This is interesting. I wonder what this is like in comparison to the Turcot Cuvée Madame, because they probably are similar, I would imagine. Cuvée des Mons. That's cool. I've never seen this before. That's very cool.
A lot of really interesting, cool stuff. What's interesting to me, though, is that Cuvée Madame, the 95 is 115 and the 98 is 50.
Yeah, I think it's got to do with scores. That has to be what it is. Let's see. Yeah, the 95 got 100 point from Parker, so that's why.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Doubles the price. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Finely Hammered, a look at the wines coming out with France. We'll be back later this week with some episodes from around the world, including the United States. So this has been Paul Walker and Jeff Byrne wishing you happy bidding, and cheers.
Cheers.